Top stories tonight in Y News. A family in North California is seeking justice in the wrongful death of a Filipino-American Navy veteran in the hands of the police. The Department of Health and the Food and Drug Administration to investigate reports on the illegal use of unregistered Sinopharm vaccines of government officials. Metro Manila mayors release advance payment for the purchase of AstraZeneca vaccines.
Golf superstar Tiger Woods now recovering after suffering from multiple leg injuries in a car accident. An association of airlines to release a global COVID-19 travel pass application. And breaking news, a shooting incident is happening near a mall in Commonwealth, Quezon City. We will get more details of this report later. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, February 24, 2021. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Thiel. First in the news, the family of a Filipino-American Navy veteran from Antioch, California, is asking for justice after his wrongful death from the police. Miguel Rey de Leon will tell us why.
The family of Angelo Quinto, a Filipino-American living in California, is seeking justice for his death after allegedly being physically restrained and asphyxiated by the police last December 23rd. According to Quinto's family, police were called last December 23rd to their Northern California home during his mental episode in the hopes to help assist relieve tension. But according to their family lawyer John Burris, the Antioch police had made no attempt to understand the situation when they arrived, but instead immediately grabbed Angelo from his mother's arms and inexplicably began using what is now infamously known as a George Floyd technique, a term used on how an officer places knee on someone's back and side of neck. The lawyer added that authorities ignored Quinto's pleas not to kill him until he lost consciousness before dying 3 days later. Quinto's cause of death is still under investigation according to Contra Costa County District Attorney. The family has now filed a legal suit after filing a wrongful death lawsuit against the city, arguing that their son died because of police. Meanwhile, Antioch Mayor Lamar Thorpe acknowledged the death of the resident in police custody and announced plans to reform the police department, with mental health being a focal point. He adds that this will give the department tools to do their job safely and respectfully.
Today I'm announcing a series of police reform measures that I will be proposing as the major first step towards building a police department that every segment of our community can trust.
Miguel Rey de Leon, UNTV News and Rescue, USA. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health and the Food and Drug Administration will investigate the use of smuggled Sinopharm vaccines by Presidential Envoy to China Ramon Montulfo. Meanwhile, Malacanang insists that it is not the policy of the Duterte administration to patronize smuggled products. Rosalie Cos explains why.
The Food and Drug Administration Act of 2009 prohibits the use of unregistered vaccines. The Department of Health and the FDA assured they will investigate the inoculation of Philippine Special Envoy to China Ramon Tulfo with smuggled COVID-19 shots. Tulfo revealed in his article that he was vaccinated with Sinopharm vaccines in 2020, together with other government officials he refused to name. The Chinese vaccine has yet to apply for an emergency use authorization in the country. Tulfo and other persons involved in the issue might also be penalized for the unauthorized vaccination activity.
Ito po ay makakasama sa investigasyon, ano? And all of these things, kapag nakita natin na hindi ayon sa mga batas na meron tayo dito sa ating bansa, will be considered illegal. So kung sino man po yung mga kababayan natin o di kaya ay mga distributors or suppliers na nagbibigay nito mga bakunang wala pa hong emergency use authority, ay magkakaroon ng appropriate investigation, and if there would be violations, magkakasanction po.
FDA Director General Rolando Enrique Domingo said that Sinopharm is not yet submitting an application for an emergency use authorization in the Philippines.
As of this daw, wala pa pong nag-a-apply. At yung pong Chinese government, alam ko po kasi sumulat sila kay Secretary Galvez informing him na wala silang local na distributor dito, no? At hindi ko po alam kung ano ang kanilang pagiging application po na strategy. Pero wala pong nag-apply. At hindi po namin pinipigilan. Actually, lahat po inihintay namin mag-apply dito sa FDA.
Meanwhile, Malacanang insists that it is not the policy of the Duterte administration to patronize smuggled products and use of unregistered COVID-19 vaccines. It can be recalled that some members of the Presidential Security Group were inoculated with Sinopharm vaccines last year.
Wala pong ganyang pulisiya dahil kung may ganyan pong pulisiya, siguro commercial quantity nang kumalat ng mga bakuna na hindi na-aproban. Pero inaantay po talaga natin ang aksyon ng FDA sa mga bagay-bagay neto.
Aside from this, the FDA also has not yet received a response from the PSG regarding their unauthorized vaccination. Recently, FDA issued a compassionate use license to PSG for the use of 10,000 doses of Sinopharm vaccines. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Metro Manila mayors have started giving their advance payments for British pharmaceutical firm AstraZeneca. Some mayors revealed their initial payment, but some did not. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
To fast-track the release of COVID-19 vaccines, the local government units in Metro Manila has given their 20th down payment to biopharmaceutical firm AstraZeneca. The LGUs that had given their advance payments are Quezon City, which initially paid 9,606,000 pesos for 200,000 vaccine doses. Manila seized an initial 38.4 million pesos for 800,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Some LGUs did not reveal the exact amount of the down payment due to a non-disclosure agreement with the national government and AstraZeneca. Quezon City for 1.1 million doses of vaccine, San Juan City for 100,000 shots, Valenzuela City for 640,000 doses, and Mandaluyong City for 150,000 doses. Meanwhile, Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Chairman Benhur Abalos Jr. revealed that it secured doses of vaccines AstraZeneca for the mass inoculation of its employees.
50% po ang gusto magpabakuna. Yung kung aming unang babakunahan ay mga traffic enforcers namin sa clearing to protect the public and to protect themselves kasi yung exposure po nila nasa kalye po sila.
Although there's no exact date to when the vaccines will arrive, local officials assures they are prepared for the vaccination rollout. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Malacanang welcomes the proposal of the Department of Labor and Employment to deploy Filipino healthcare workers to other countries in exchange for vaccines. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque made the statement after Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III proposed to Germany and the United Kingdom to increase their deployment cap of healthcare workers on the expectation that those countries would provide 600,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines for OFWs. Roque said that President Duterte had nothing to do with the move. The proposal, however, was met with criticisms, including one from former Vice President Jajamar Binay, who described the move as insensitive and dehumanizing.
Hindi po ito ideya ng Presidente, ideya po ito ni Secretary Bello at Secretary Locsin na wini-welcome din natin because more is better than less.
A health expert, which is also a member of the Department of Health's vaccine expert panel, has advised vaccine recipients to prepare their mental condition and to trust the safety and efficacy of the vaccines. Joanano tells us why.
To prevent the possible severe side effects of a COVID-19 vaccine, Dr. Ron Jean Solante, who is a member of the Department of Health's vaccine expert panel, advises vaccine recipients to prepare their mental condition and to trust the safety and efficacy of the vaccine. This is apart from the other things that a person should prepare before receiving a jab against COVID-19. He advises vaccine recipients to have a complete rest, eat a healthy meal, and check for possible cough and fever in the past 3 days before the scheduled inoculation.
Talagang preparahan mo siya, maganda ang walang tomas, no, walang ubo, walang lagnat, at saka ang importante dito, psychologically ready ka sa pagbabakuna dahil tanggalin mo rin yung takot mo dahil sa bakuna, dahil minsan pag nandun pa rin yung fear mo, yung hesitations, baka pag ini-inject yan, may mga ganong klaseng kliyente na pag ini-inject at talagang natatakot at saka mas lalong ma-magnify yung mga side effects.
The medical expert further explains that it is normal for any kind of vaccines to have an adverse effect. He advises those people who will experience this should not self-medicate but instead consult a doctor.
Kadalasan yan, halimbawa, mayroon kang lagnat, kung sa tingin mo yung lagnat na hindi kaya ng katawan mo na very uncomfortable for you, hindi ka ng paracetamol. Pero kung medyo kaya naman, as much as possible, mas maganda wala tayong inumin, no? Ng maraming tubig, tapos i-monitor. Tapos yung medyo masakit dito sa kung saan tinuturok yung bakuna, usually nawawala yan within 48 to 72 hours.
As of now, the government is just waiting for the arrival of COVID-19 vaccines to be able to start the vaccination rollout in the country. Prior to this, majority of the local government units have presented their preparations on how the vaccination process should be done and have also given their down payments for the purchase of vaccine supplies. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Food and Drug Administration has clarified to President Rodrigo Duterte that the agency is not prohibiting the use of Sinovac vaccines on healthcare workers. Rosa Ricos explains why.
Malacanang revealed that President Rodrigo Duterte was perplexed by the decision of the Food and Drug Administration not to recommend CoronaVac, the COVID-19 vaccines manufactured by Chinese firm Sinovac Biotech, to healthcare workers. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the chief executive respects the opinion of the medical experts, but he was baffled because the efficacy rate of the Sinovac vaccines during the Brazil trials is still within the minimum 50% efficacy threshold of the World Health Organization. After this, FDA Director General Dr. Eric Domingo clarified that those Sinovac vaccines are not recommended to health workers, they are not prohibited from being inoculated with it.
Si Presidente po mismo nagtataka bakit ganun nga ang naging EUA ng FDA. At pinatawag po talaga si Secretary Domingo nung huling cabinet meeting at naiparating ni Presidente yung kanyang pagtataka kung bakit may ganitong kolatilya, no? Rinirespeto po ng Presidente ang opinyon ng mga experts. Kaya let the kolatilya remain.
Meanwhile, out of debt of gratitude, President Duterte wants to personally welcome the arrival of the first batch of Sinovac vaccines in the country.
Pilipino tayo. Tumatanaw tayo ng utang na loob. Sa ating panahon ng pangangailangan, talaga naman yung kaibigan nating China ang nagpadala ng unang bakuna sa atin. So, hindi mo matatanggal sa Pilipino na tumanaw ng utang na loob.
According to Sinovac Biotech General Manager Helen Yang, they are doing their best to expedite the process of shipment of the 600,000 doses of the donated Sinovac vaccines. Right now, they have shipped their vaccines to 12 countries already.
We will try our best to see whether we can deliver the products in this week or next week. It will be very soon.
Some cabinet members have expressed willingness to be administered with Sinovac vaccine to boost vaccine confidence, including Secretary Roque. The presidential spokesperson added that even Vice President Leni Robredo is qualified to get the vaccine.
Kung gusto po ni Vice President, she's welcome to join also. At kung inyong matatandaan sa kanyang mga naging pahayag sa media ay magboboluntaryo naman po siya bilang isang Vice President.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
For those watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. The security for the celebration of the Edsa People Power Revolution tomorrow is in place, with police enforcing strict COVID-19 health protocols for participants. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police will be deploying about 2,000 personnel across Metro Manila during the commemoration of the 35th Edsa People Power tomorrow. National Capital Region Police Office or NCRPO Director, Police Major General Vicente Danao Jr. said they have long prepared for the activity to assure the safety of the event.
Ang buong NCRPO ay naka-full alert din po upang pangisiwaan yung ating pong security measures na i-implement para bukas. So ang ating pong kapulisan ay handa upang paunlakan po yung okasyon para bukas.
And with a threat of COVID-19, Danao adds, police personnel will carry yantok or wooden sticks to remind those attending to observe physical distancing measures.
Yes, yung pong yantok naman has been a part of the uniform. Unang-una, just to remind our mga kababayan na we really have to maintain unang-una yung physical distancing pa rin po, no? Kasi ang problema po ng COVID ay hindi pa rin po natatapos, ano? So ano naman to, just to show our constituents that the use of yantok is for ano lang naman, reminders and nothing else.
Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA will implement a zipper lane along White Plains Avenue on Edsa tomorrow. The MMDA said plastic barriers and traffic cones will be installed in front of the Edsa shrine. The MMDA said there would also be no road closures during the event. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, some senators have urged the Department of Education to push for the pilot testing of face-to-face in fewer schools located in low-risk areas. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Some senators expressed frustration over the postponement of limited face-to-face classes in the country. In today's Senate Committee on Basic Education hearing, the Department of Education explained they were already gearing up for the implementation of the pilot physical classes last month. However, President Rodrigo Duterte retracted his decision due to the presence of the new COVID-19 variant in the country, which eventually led to his latest directive of no vaccine, no face-to-face classes.
Hinayang na hinayang ako sa nawalang taon sa ating kabataan at sana mapatunayan sa sunod-sunod ng hearing na talagang karapat-dapat lamang na magbukas na ang mga eskwelahan sa lalong madaling panahon. Nauna pa sana sa mga mall, sa mga sinehan, sa mga gaming arcade.
Parang kulang sa persuasive powers ang DepEd kasi tignan nyo dapat papayagan na yung mga kabataan natin pumunta sa arcade centers. Pwede na silang pumunta sa mall. Kaya hindi ko maintindihan pero hindi sila pwedeng bumalik sa classroom at a limited number of students.
According to UNICEF, the Philippines is among the 14 countries in the world and the only country in Southeast Asia that have yet to reopen its schools since the beginning of the pandemic.
UNICEF recommends to start with a pilot in low-risk areas as soon as possible when this is allowed and when the political decision is made.
According to DepEd Undersecretary Nepomuceno Malaluan, the department is ready once the President and the Interagency Task Force allow the pilot testing. The pilot face-to-face classes will be held in over 1,000 schools across the country, only in areas under modified general community quarantine. A stringent checklist for compliance with health protocols will be followed by the schools and parents.
That participation by students shall be voluntary with express permission by the parents. Ilang araw ba magkikita-kita? Hindi po pare-pareho yon na lahat ay Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Meron pong nag-adapt ng isang araw lamang sa isang linggo. Merong 2 araw. Mayroong early grades lamang. Yung isang priority namin ay yung mga tech walk students na kailangan ng workshop requirement.
Senator Francis Pangilinan urged DepEd to trim down the number of schools that will participate in the pilot testing to gain support from the IATF.
Ang importante, napapilot at nakikita yung mga gaps. Hindi ba? So that when you expand it even to 1,065, you already have the experience of 500 or 300 to work around and to work on and to make the necessary adjustments. Baka naman papayag yung IATF immediately kung iilan lang muna.
A teachers group supports the push for the pilot face-to-face classes.
Hindi po namin ito kina-counter kasi kailangan naman po natin talaga itong mapag-usapan. Ang binabanggit na lamang po natin, we have to really ensure yung health at yung safety ng ating mga guro.
The DepEd vowed to discuss the matter in their executive committee meeting. Meanwhile, the Senate panel's chairperson Sherwin Gatchalian also urged the department to ensure that teachers will be included in the vaccination priority list. In response, the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG, assured that teachers are considered essential workers who are among the priorities in the vaccine rollout.
I would recommend Senator Marcos to DepEd to lobby very hard to include our teachers in the priority list if we are looking at opening classes come August.
The DepEd will present to the committee its detailed pilot face-to-face program plan next week. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Pasay City government places 95 households under a strict community quarantine. Meanwhile, authorities have apprehended 1,700 health protocol violators in just 4 days. Let's find out why from Asher Kadapan Jr.
The Pasay City government identifies the spike in their COVID-19 cases as due to transmission of the disease within households with at least a member contracting the virus while working outside the locality. This is based on the data gathered by the local government unit on the onset of the sudden increase of new COVID-19 cases.
So halimbawa, outside Pasay yung office na yon, yung kasama sa trabaho ng nag-positive, taga Pasay, uuwi sa Pasay, contact trace pala siya. At hindi naman namin alam yun up until mag-positive. Kasi malalaman lang yun ng city pag lumabas na yun sa database. At kinokontak na kami, may positive kayo, si ganyan, si ganito. Ganun po yung usually nangyayari.
To avoid further spread of the disease, the Pasay City Epidemiology and Disease Surveillance Unit has placed 95 households located in 55 barangays under 14-day localized enhanced community quarantine. The LGU clarifies that the quarantine protocols are only implemented in houses, compounds, and streets with 3 or more cases of COVID-19 and not the entire barangay. As of yesterday, the city already have 435 active COVID-19 cases, including 44 new cases added in the record. The LGU has intensified its effort in contact tracing, isolation, and mass testing. The Department of Health have already coordinated with the Pasay City government to provide assistance in lowering the number of infected individuals. Meanwhile, just within the last 4 days, the Pasay City Police Station has recorded more than 1,700 violators of health protocols, including those not wearing face mask and face shield, not observing the social distancing measure, and curfew ordinance. Most were apprehended in streets, public transportation, market, and other crowded places. Violators are fined 1,000 pesos for every violation, while those improperly using the basic personal protective equipment were accosted. Pasay Police Chief Colonel Cesar Padayos said this will serve as an additional measure in controlling the spread of COVID-19.
Kaya ticket na lang po kami ng ticket sa mga walang face mask, walang face shield, violation of distancing, pati na yung mga curfew na wala namang dahilan na nandyan sa kalye, kinukuha na natin yon, tinitikitan na rin yon. Kasi yung mga essentials lang at saka mga upper lang, yung mga authorized dyan.
Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health, or DOH, reported 1,557 new COVID-19 cases today, bringing the country's cumulative total to 566,420. The DOH said that 5.5% or 30,970 cases of the overall tally remain active. Of the active cases, 88.5% have mild symptoms, 5.9% are asymptomatic, 2.5% are in critical condition, 2.4% are in severe condition, and 0.80% are in moderate condition. It was also reported that 22 more patients died, bringing the death toll to 12,129. Also, there were 392 additional patients who recovered from the viral illness, pushing the total number of survivors to 523,321.
A consumer group is asking the government to release the result of its investigation on the alleged manipulation of pork prices and supply in the country. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Laban Consumer wants to put an end to the authenticity of the allegation of price and supply manipulation of pork in the country. Attorney Vic Dimagiba said if the result of the investigation will be released, the consumer confidence will regain if proven that the price is reasonable, and if there is no manipulation, names of the businessmen will be clean.
Kailangan po yung mga taong dapat managot, kung may mananagot, whether private individuals or public officials, yung nagkulang sa paggawa nilang trabaho, ilabas na po at magsampa ng kaso kung meron naman. Kung wala naman po, isa na po nila yung investigasyon dahil mabilik din naman yung tiwala ng mga negosyante na hindi sila pinagsisisihan ng pamahalaan.
The group also stands on the side of the Department of Agriculture in the implementation of the price ceiling. The DA said that the intervention is effective because it already decreases the prices of pork by 100 pesos per kilogram.
Ang monitoring namin, meron pa nagbebenta 350, 360, pero wala na yung 400 to 450. In effect, the price ceiling is successful kasi marami pa rin naman na bumibenta 270 to 300 na sumusunod.
But the market master in Las Piñas is staging a petition to the Supreme Court to stop the price ceiling.
Hindi na yung suppose na nakikita ko na na-question yung constitutionality ng batas na yan. Dahil hindi naman nagre-reflect talaga sa tunay na estado ng ating silihan talaga o ng ating industry.
DA officials, however, assures that there will be enough supply in the coming days.
Ginaransya na mayroon na tayong enough supply tomorrow. 100% sa requirements nila.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
State Weather Bureau Pagasa says the prevailing weather condition, the tail end of a frontal system, has weakened. However, this may still bring scattered rain showers over mainland Cagayan, Isabela, Quirino, and Aurora. Meanwhile, Pag-asa says the northeast monsoon or the Amihan may end by next month. In a climate outlook forum, Pag-asa said it is looking at the possible transition of the country to the hotter weather by the second half of March.
Angkas riders will also soon be trained to do home service for saliva testing. JP Nunez will tell us why live. JP, go ahead.
Diego, the Philippine Red Cross or the PRC has partnered with Angkas to extend its humanitarian efforts nationwide. Following the partnership, Angkas will assist in the delivery of humanitarian interventions such as blood needs, first aid, and other responses in relation to the fight against coronavirus disease. Angkas riders will also be trained to do home service for saliva testing, making COVID-19 testing faster, more convenient, and accessible to those who are unable to leave their homes.
With this partnership, all 30,000 Angkas bikers will become the new eyes and ears on the road for reporting crimes. At first responder po sila for disasters and other emergencies. Kung dati-dati, they were oftentimes chased by the police. Today, they will help the police.
However, the full implementation and process of this program is yet to be discussed. And that is our latest live. Back to you, Diego.
Nunez reporting live.
And for the news abroad, the future of golf superstar Tiger Woods is now uncertain again after being involved in a serious car crash. Briannis will tell us why live. Early, what is the latest condition of Woods?
Kat, good evening. After a long surgical procedure on his lower right leg and ankle, Tiger Woods is now awake, responsive, and recovering in the hospital. A statement posted to his Twitter account includes a detailed explanation of Woods' surgery at the Harbor Eucla Medical Center. Dr. Anish Mahajan, the chief medical officer of the hospital, said Woods' right leg was stabilized with a rod, while additional injuries to the bones of the foot and ankle were stabilized with a combination of screws and pins. Mahajan added, Woods' legs, muscles, and soft tissues also suffered trauma and required surgery to reduce pressure. The famous golfer was found Tuesday morning in a mangled SUV after rolling over to its side down a steep downhill road in the suburbs of Los Angeles. Paramedics and firefighters who responded to the accident have since reported no evidence of intoxication at the time and that no other parties were involved, harmed, or injured. But they did not comment on how fast he was driving. Kat?
Early, with ice from all around the globe on the famous golfer, I am sure many will ask this question. Can he still play golf?
Actually, Kat, this will in fact be his 10th surgery after spending the last decade in and out of various neck, back, and knee injuries. Woods proves himself to be a legend though, as every time he comes back to the golf course, he wins each time despite the injuries he was suffering at the time. However, this accident is a big setback for Woods and its impact on his career is something we will have to wait for. Kat?
Thank you, Early, for that report. The International Airport Transport Association, or IATA, confirms the release of an integrated digital travel pass set to happen in March. Nina Bascon reports.
In a bid to resume international travels in a COVID-safe way, the International Airport Transportation Association, or IATA, confirmed its release of a digital travel pass which would enable passengers' verification of COVID-19 tests, as well as if vaccination has been received, with the administering authority in a digital way. The app has started its first trial program with Singapore Air back in December 2020 and is compatible on both Android and iOS devices. It also offers a flexibility to be integrated with other third-party softwares used by other agencies. The IATA Travel Pass promises to incorporate a global registry of health requirements to find accurate information on travel, as well as testing and vaccine requirements for the journey. It will also incorporate a global registry of testing and vaccination centers at each departure location that meet the standards of the destination. The app can also provide higher confidence level to governments, knowing the informations are accurate and compliant to their own travel requirements, which could possibly make way for countries to reopen their borders. According to IATA's figures, the airline industry has gone backwards by 70% in 2020 compared to 2019. Other airlines such as Etihad, Emirates, Qatar Airways, Air New Zealand, and R1 Air have followed the steps of Singapore Air in trialing the app and will be available to public at no cost. Nina Bascon, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
As the United States and the United Kingdom speed up their mass inoculation programs, European Union countries would have to nearly triple their current daily vaccination rate to achieve herd immunity against COVID-19 by the end of 2021, according to a German study. Marvi Delfin will give us the details in this report.
With more than 205 million COVID-19 vaccine doses administered worldwide as of Sunday, the German database firm Statista has published a report yesterday about its findings from daily vaccine data from local health authorities of each country. Despite the US and the UK having been badly hit by the pandemic, recording the world's worst and fifth worst death tolls respectively, Statista said that the two nations are already on a promising path with their rapid inoculation progress. The US administered 1.6 million doses on average per day, while UK administered 434,000 doses on average per day. European nations, on the other hand, have to catch up, with Germany having only given at least 110,000 doses, France 96,000, and Italy just close to 68,000 doses a day. The distribution of the COVID-19 vaccines and the vaccination ratios across countries continue to be a concern as governments address supply and logistic challenges, as well as vaccine hesitancy. Statista predicts that the US will become the first G20 country to achieve herd immunity, and that the UK will become the first large European nation to do so. Since the UK is no longer part of the EU, it has accelerated its approval processes, and more than a third of the adult population have so far received a first dose. Although scientists have varying estimates of the needed proportion of a population that must be vaccinated against the coronavirus, Statista has recommended a threshold of 70%. To meet this threshold by the end of 2021, Germany would have to vaccinate 315,000 people, France 246,000, and Italy 230,000 daily. These three EU countries would have to significantly ramp up their efforts, which are hampered by delivery delays, production bottlenecks, and political shortcomings. Last month, European Commission President von der Leyen admitted that the European Union was too late in processing the approval of COVID-19 vaccines and was overly optimistic regarding production. Marvi Delfin, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Kat Dumaraos. Good evening.
Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs has raised the alert status for Filipinos in Myanmar to the second level amid the political crisis in that country. In a public advisory, the DFA said this is to ensure the safety of the remaining Filipinos there. Alert Level 2 means restricting non-essential movements, avoiding places of protest, and preparing for possible evacuation. Only returning overseas Filipino workers with existing contracts shall also be allowed to travel to Myanmar.
And those are the reasons behind the news, February 24, 2021. I am Harleen Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they're told. I'm Angelo III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.